Have you been injured in a motor vehicle accident? With over 40 years of experience in personal injury litigation, James Milady and his team at Lawyers West LLP, well, they've seen it all. Do not settle for less. Check them out now at www.lawyerswest.ca to set up your free consultation.
You're listening to Daily Hive, and this is the Week Ahead Podcast. Now here are your hosts, Ryan Sullivan and Jay DeMerit.
All right, we are good to go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Week Ahead. My name is Ryan Sullivan. His name is Jay DeMerit on the far side.
Hola.
And Ian McIntosh on the left side of your screen.
Live in studio. We love it when it's in studio.
Yeah, this has only happened twice before.
Okay, and as usual, I'm going to go to my phone on this live broadcast because I need to share this
Absolutely.
to everybody to say that we're going live.
No one's judging you if you go on your phone.
No, I had a buddy call me that I talked to last week. He's like, "Dude, what's up with your phone on your podcast?" And I'm like, "Well, dude, I just do it in the beginning because I gotta write." You know, that this thing's going on right now.
It's the generation we live in.
That's
Exactly.
fair.
Everyone's on their phone all the time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The whole
Funny, I can
demographic
tell them.
is millennial on this show, so
Yeah.
it has to be done. Oh, there you go. I can hear the intro. I like it. Why don't we? I'll dive into what's coming up, and you sort out the phone there. We've got some great stuff. The headliner, of course, sitting across from me here, Ian McIntosh. We are going to talk everything under the sun. You've had a pretty ridiculous career, big mountain skiing, wingsuit, cliff jumping, base jumping. We were going to get into all of that. Just sitting there humbly, that's me.
I mean,
That's what I do.
Yeah.
No big deal.
It's been a good run, man. I've been, doing what I do professionally for 12 years, 13th year now, and it's been going well.
I'll say.
Keeps getting better.
Absolutely. So, and I also I'm going to get your 2 cents on a little something that went down with a certain Canadian skier during the Olympics as well, because you got a little bit of experience with the big time tumble. We're going to get to that.
Yes.
And what was going through this guy's mind, God only knows. But hopefully, maybe you have some insight on that. We're going to talk with Chris Del Bosco.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is just crazy. But of course, we're going to chat a little bit of NHL trade deadline. A little bit. Everybody's online waiting for trades right now, and they'll be waiting for a while because there's not a hell of a lot going on, but we'll cover the big ones. The jackass of the week. We've got ourselves a fine one. Some huge news out of Jacksonville, Florida that will scramble your brain as well, and that's coming up in the Indochino headlines. And then, of course, we're going to talk a little bit of Whitecaps. Season's right around the corner.
Here we go.
Absolutely. We're going to talk the future of Tim Parker, because it's getting the water's getting a little murky there.
And just so you know, this isn't Tim Parker. This is Ian.
Yes.
Just
we
'cause
were,
I'm
we were
ginger.
saying we were going to
Yeah.
put a Parker jersey on him, take his hat off, and just say that Tim Parker's live to talk about what
I know we all look alike. We all look
Yeah.
alike, but I'm not Tim Parker.
Yeah, but this is not Tim. It was going to be a nice spoof, like a
Yeah.
Chappelle Show-esque, type comedy, but yeah.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And then an awesome story out of the University of Iowa. We're going to talk a little bit of NCAA hoops because it's almost time for the madness, so we might as well get in there. And then the biggest in bets across the sporting world. We'll chat about it all. It's going to be good times on the week ahead. But first, before we get to our headliner, let's talk about Berard Physiotherapy. How is that New Year's resolution treating you right now? Probably not that great. Mine is terrible. We're about to have wine and beer. And we're in the PM. It's 12:04.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's,
We're good.
yeah,
We're
as long as it's
good.
PM, you're cool.
We're right on time.
My therapist at Berard Physio, however, he's put me through the motions and through a movement screen. He's laid out a game plan for my fitness goals. All I got to do is book an appointment. That's all you have to do as well. BerardPhysiotherapy.com. Not many clinics have the leading edge equipment like laser and shockwave therapy, along with a knowledgeable team to follow it up. With 150 years of combined experience, you know you're in the right hands with Berard Physiotherapy. There you go. A guy that knows physiotherapy all too well. We welcome back in Mr. Ian McIntosh. Now, how would you describe yourself if you had to hand out a business card? What's the job title there officially?
I guess my official job title would be big mountain skier, professional big mountain skier.
Okay.
And then, that encompasses a lot of different things, but
Yeah.
but mainly it encompasses skiing some of the biggest, rowdiest lines in the world.
You're
as fast as possible.
You're a crazy man. All right, I'm gonna pop up a little video for those that don't know.
3, 2, 1, dropping.
This is just one of many ski videos. I'm sure they just blend all together.
Yeah, this one actually was special for me in a couple different reasons. First, it won Powder Magazine's Line of the Year, which is given out to the person who skis the rowdiest line every year. They give out that award. I've been nominated for that award 7 times. It's my 2nd time winning it. But first time anyone's won the award via foot power, and what that means is basically I climbed that line and skied down it. So that's
you're basically controlling a free fall. Once you drop in, you're going to the bottom. There's no stopping.
I'm still skiing
by the bottom, I was just hanging on by a thread.
But doing it in a way that taking out the mechanized approach and doing it on foot.
It is absolutely crazy, man. Okay, now I gotta play this, and I know that you're probably sick of talking about it. It's like when people just want to talk soccer with Jay or talk spandex with myself.
Right.
It's just one of those things. But you took a bit of a spill, so we're up 1,600 feet here.
Yeah,
and I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, I mean, this is in Alaska. This face is about 1,600 vertical feet, and I made a critical judgment error dropping in. And when you make a mistake in this game, you pay the ultimate price. And I knew when I went down that I was tumbling to the bottom of this mountain. And sure enough, I did. I did my best effort to keep it out of the ski film and keep it out of the public eyes. But sure enough, the production company I work with, Teton Gravity Research, they took it upon themselves to see if they could get this video to go viral. And sure enough, it did. Next thing I know, I'm on Good Morning America and CNN and Fox News and all these sorts of media outlets. And it was a pretty funny whirlwind tour of media. And like I said to all those media outfits when I was on their shows is, listen, none of you guys cared the last 12 years while I was stomping big lines and skiing first descents around the world. Well, the first time I ever hear a phone call from any of you guys is when I almost kill myself, and that's just mainstream media for you.
Yeah, fair enough.
It doesn't matter how gnarly of a line I ski, tumbling down a mountain will always get more views. So there you go.
And Fox News blamed it on Obama as well, which is strange.
And he can't even ski.
Yeah. Well, and I was, they're like, all right, you're going on Fox News and you're with O'Leary or whatever his name is. And I was like, oh, I hate this guy. He was about to interview me and I had to act like I loved it. But
do you believe in that no publicity is bad publicity?
No, I don't, because I believe this is bad publicity. I mean, when I reach out to like new sponsors these days and I'm like, all right, check out what I do. The first thing that pops up when they Google my name is me tumbling down a mountain. It doesn't make me look that great in their eyes. However, I mean, at the time I thought it was, I embraced it as all publicity is good publicity. Now I look at it as like, I wish that was, kept in the out of the editing suite and kept from releasing. But it's part of what we do. I'm a human being. We all make mistakes, and we've all made errors in judgment in our lives. And in the game that I play in, when you make an error, something like that happens. So it's just part of being a human being, and I embrace that. So
yeah, I mean the fact that you got out unscathed to talk about it, I mean that's pretty unbelievable. I mean that's a hell of an accomplishment. I mean you're saying like it's pretty rough if somebody Googles your name. Somebody Googles my name, the first thing that comes up is me knocking my junk against the glass in spandex. So I'm trying to apply for a serious job, and that's what usually happens. So it could be worse. Could be worse.
That's why he starts podcasts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
no one can get me in here.
Shit could be worse. I mean, it's
totally.
Like I say, I embrace it. It's part of what I do, and it's all good. I walked away unscathed. We were back 2 days later, skiing big lines just like that one, and I'm actually going back in April to try to ski that line again. Except I'm going to do it without a helicopter. I'm going to climb up it on foot, and do it that way. So I'm heading back to that spot to get redemption.
Yeah,
I love it, man. Yeah. Very nice.
Okay, so we got among your many sponsors, the North Face, TGR. Like now, as you move into kind of the latter stages of your career, you know, and I know you're a great friend of mine, and I know how much you care about the climate, and you're on, you know, a lot of these big committees, you know, as someone that lives in the mountains and really truly understands the nature of things. Where do you see your role going as your ambassador of these types of climate change issues on the climate side? And I wanted to talk to you about that. Just to, you know, I know you're someone that has a voice, but also one that actually lives it. And I want to get your take on kind of what you think about this all. Where is the climate going in your opinion, and how can we help it?
Well, I mean, for me, it's, you know, as an athlete, as someone who has a voice in the public, it's about using that voice for positivity, and someone who plays in nature, and especially in the winter, I see what's happening all around me. In my short span of being on this planet, I've seen drastic change in the climate. And then, I mean, it's, you know, for me, it's like I trust a scientist to develop medicine for me. I trust a scientist to develop an iPhone that's going to work. You know, we trust scientists to do a lot of things in our lives, put a man on the moon or whatever it may be. And 98% of the scientists on this planet are telling us this is the single biggest issue of our time, and we're the cause, and we're also the solution. And so I trust them. I believe in that. You know, a lot of people choose not to, but I believe they choose not to simply because it's inconvenient to believe that it is. But the fortunate thing is the economics are going to eventually take over, and the swing's going to happen. Clean energy is becoming cheaper than fossil fuels. Electric cars outperform gas cars. You know, this is the way of the future. This is the way we're heading. And so, you know, regardless of what people think or want to believe, you know, the economics are going to speak, and eventually it's just going to become the norm to realize that this is the single biggest issue of our time, and we're the ones that can, you know, provide the solutions. And there is a lot of solutions happening. There's a lot of positivity, so I'm very hopeful that that we're going to, you know, solve this major issue of our time, which is climate change. You know, right now as we speak, it's, you know, 20 some degrees Celsius warmer than normal in the Arctic. Like, it's not even below freezing in the day in the Arctic, and yet the sun doesn't come up. It might be cold here down in Vancouver, but for some reason the Arctic is hot. And so if that's not proof right there, then what is? You know, and you know, a lot of people will also talk about the fact that the climate's always been changing, and of course it has. You know, we used to be in an ice age, and you know, the planet came out of the ice age, but there's a lot of evidence stating that, you know, there was a huge cataclysm to actually cause the planet to come out of the ice age, and a lot of these like huge swings in the past on the planet have always been cataclysmic. And right now we are the cataclysm. We are the ones causing this issue. And you know, bottom line is I just trust the scientists. The scientists aren't saying this for their own political gain or anything like that. They're doing it because that's their job, and it's their job to figure this stuff out. And we trust scientists for everything else, but for some reason people choose not to trust scientists on this issue, and to me that's just weird, and it's stupid. And so yeah, you know, I mean, moving forward, I try and have a voice, and I try and use that voice for positivity, and I'm actually working on some great partnerships with some really well-connected human beings that have a lot of resources to help protect the world that we live in, and are doing great things around the world. And I'm going to continue to work with those guys to bring a lot of those things that they're doing to the BC area, and do some really positive things that encompass real change. And so that's my goal.
Very nice, man. And you know, who better to chat about that than the guy that sees the mountains from the very top? I mean, you can see the snow receding here and there, and it's pretty obvious stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to the same glaciers every year, and I can see dramatic change year to year. And I mean, our lifespan on this earth is just a blip in the grand scheme of things. And if we can see change year to year, then that, you know, that's not normal.
Yeah.
You know, the planet changes, climate changes on a much slower timeline than that as normal.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing now is not normal. And so yeah, it's, you know, I'm passionate about Mother Nature. It's where I play. It's what provides us everything that we have in this world, to be able to, you know, live on this planet. We're so connected to Mother Nature and all the ecosystems and everything that it provides us, the air we breathe, the water we drink, you know, and to ignore that is ignorant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Doug Adams just comments, I hope vaping gets linked to climate change. There you go.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I don't know if the science is there yet, but maybe.
You know, I mean, edibles, you know, that's not going to do anything to climate change. So there you go.
That's what I'm saying.
Especially if the growers are doing it in a way where they're using clean energy to grow the edibles.
Yeah, right. There you go. All right, now
Cleaner the better.
Yeah, speaking of life is just a blip, this is seriously taken into your own hands. If you go on to YouTube, you check out Vice Sports, you can find Ian in, is it a wingsuit or a squirrel suit? What are they?
Well, I mean, a lot of people know them as squirrel suits, but they're referred to by the people in the sport as wingsuits.
Okay, and jumping off the Squamish Chief in Squamish, which is crazy. I mean, I drive by and I see, you know, people climbing it. They look like ants from the ground, and you think, oh my gosh, they're nuts. And here you are, just jumping off, no big deal.
I've climbed it too.
Well, yeah. What was the thought process there? And I'm going to get the wine going here.
Well, I mean, for me, base jumping and wingsuit base jumping was always something that I wanted to. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's breakfast wine, right?
We're in the
Lunch
PM.
wine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like embrace the French vibe, you know. Drink a bottle of wine for everything.
Pairs well with
it's good for you.
beer.
Antioxidants.
It's the
really
Merlot,
great.
the Merlot bacon flavor for breakfast.
That's
So.
right.
But you know, wingsuit base jumping was something I always like ever since I first saw like it on, you know, YouTube or wherever you watch these videos. I was always like, man, I've got to experience that. I want to experience human flight. I want to you know, do that in its purest form, and to me wingsuit base jumping is the purest way to experience flight and to, you know, experience what it's like to be a bird. It's as close as human beings are ever going to be to feeling like they're a bird. And so I just skydived for years, and then I eventually got a wingsuit and you know, jumped that a bunch out of airplanes, and then I started traveling around the world jumping off massive cliffs and other objects with a wingsuit and without. And you know, I got to base jump in Norway, Italy, France, Switzerland, the US, and Canada, and really, really experienced human flight in its purest form and had a ball doing it. And it's a crazy sport. It's so fun. It's so amazing. It's also super tragic. And that's part of the reason why I recently stopped doing it. So
That's fair. That's fair.
I know you've lost some really good friends out there, but a lot of us have never experienced human flight, so you know that's pretty cool stuff too. So
it is super cool. And hey, cheers to the fallen comrades.
Absolutely.
Who had the balls to go out and give it a go, and maybe not got through it, but
absolutely.
You know, they inspired some people like me to maybe rethink what's important in life. And to me, what's important in life is having the best time possible, but also making sure that you're around the longest amount of time you can be to continue to experience all the amazing things that life has to offer. So base jumping's fun. It's super fun. Is it worth dying for? No. And so at least that's my personal opinion. Some others might say otherwise, but yeah, I don't think it was worth dying for. And you know, on to the next thing. I came back from Switzerland one time, and I went to Moab, Utah, mountain biking with my parents. My dad's 70 years old at the time. I was like, shit, I got a lot of life left to live. If this old man is still mountain biking all these sweet trails, like, I need to check myself. And you know, I come off that trip watching people die and so on and so forth, and then lost some other close friends soon after that. And it was just a realization that you know, for me, it was I experienced it. It was great, but time to move on.
Next, all the day's news headlines.
Haters gon' say it's fake. So real.
Headlines. And Indochino, the largest custom apparel company. Oh yeah, get into the wine here. Absolutely. There's
good.
more where that came from. Yeah,
It's really good.
Jay and I love the massive selection. We were just down there in the showroom last week, actually, picking out some new duds. Here's how it works. You pick your fabric, make your customization, submit your measurements, place your order, give it 3 weeks or less, and boom, you got yourself a suit. And now, just because we love our listeners,
Well, are you getting married in Indochino this summer?
Oh yeah, most likely.
Probably.
I mean,
There it is.
They make amazing stuff, so why wouldn't I?
Absolutely.
Plus, Jay's one of my good friends, so I mean, we should probably get the whole.
We can get you 50% off.
We should probably get the whole wedding party decked out.
You just
That's
have
what
to
I'm
say week ahead from our podcast, and then all the boys get 50% off.
Yeah, let's do
So
it. Let's
week
get the whole.
ahead.
We got, I got six of you guys in my wedding party. We need to get you guys all decked out.
There we go.
There it is.
Small wedding of 500 of our closest friends.
that's a tiny one right there.
And the parties at my house, in our place.
The Funk Hunters are gonna play because
Yeah.
they're good friends of ours too. So it's
Nice.
it's a festival wedding.
That's going to be a good party.
Just the way we like it.
Promo code week ahead, any of their showrooms or online at the Indochino website there. So in the headlines, we're talking, we'll just go over trade deadline real quick because anywhere you go in this city, you're going to talk about the trades for the next week or so. So Ryan McDonough just got dealt, it says, to be decided, so we're still hearing about that. But Tampa Bay Lightning are getting McDonough from the Rangers for the TBD. Thomas Tatar going to... Wow, the Vegas Golden Knights for a first, second, and third rounder. It seems a little steep. The Canucks did make a move. They shopped Thomas Vanek. They found a buyer, and he's on his way to Columbus for Juicy Jokinen. Oh, that's very Juicy Jokinen. And Tyler Mott, and also Evander Kane heading to the Sharks for a first, a fourth, and Dan O'Regan. Some other trades from the past little bit. Peter Mrazek for a third and a fourth, going from the Wings to the Flyers with Neuvert and Elliott out for the next few weeks. It's a good deal. Michael Grabner going to the Devils. Ryan Reeves joins the Vegas Golden Knights. Rick Nash on his way to Boston for a first. Ryan Spooner, Matt Bolesky, Ryan Lindgren at a seventh, and Thomas Plekanec. The turtleneck is on his way to Toronto. There you go.
The turtleneck.
Yeah, he loves his turtleneck. I don't know. It's interesting. It's like your.
Do you like a turtleneck?
I don't mind a good turtleneck.
Do you like a turtleneck?
I mean, it's been a long time since I wore a good turtleneck. But,
Me too.
the turtlenecks and Triscuits party that we usually have at Christmas with our friends, it's a great time to wear a good
That's
turtleneck.
true.
So it's good to have at least one
I've missed it.
in
the
your
last couple
closet.
years.
The first thing that popped into my mind there is what kind of Triscuits? Do you have like a number of different flavors, or is it just the original?
I mean, I would say every flavor is there, and every type of cheese and meat that you would
That's a good
want to
part.
pair with those flavors.
Yeah.
Of course, with some great wine.
Also paired with some
Also-
great
We
turtlenecks.
can help you there. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The essence of the
Clutch.
party.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, I like it. Should the mood strike a nice turtleneck, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Unless it's a little too itchy on the throat.
I mean, you got to have one in your closet just for those,
Yeah,
occasions.
I've got my fallback turtleneck just in
Yeah.
case, apocalypse, things hit the fan. I've got my turtleneck.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk a little jackass of the week here? And I threw it out there as one of the games to watch last week. It was the Golden State Warriors and the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I will play the clip. This is Jaja Chulia.
Westbrook, the high dribble. Forced that one up. Bodies falling on the floor. Here comes Curry. Play continues.
It's just painfully obvious
What
sometimes.
country is he from again?
He's from the Flavin. He's,
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
One of those countries.
he's from Europe.
Okay,
Obviously.
okay. My take on that is that he's probably from like a,
Brutal.
Westbrook, the high dribble. Forced that one up.
Maybe.
Bodies falling on the floor. Here comes Curry. Play continues. Trying to get contact. Good no call.
With Kawhi Leonard, but he sticks his knee out when he comes down. It's so obvious. Like when you're playing hockey, you can make something look so subtle, and I use hockey as the example because that's all I know. Where you can just you stick the hip out a little bit, doesn't look like you're doing anything, it's completely innocent, but you bump a guy. Same thing in soccer.
100%.
Stick the foot out, stick the knee out. He does that here, and then this was in the playoffs too against Kawhi Leonard.
Leonard
He used
fires from the corner.
as well.
And Leonard goes
sticks
down
the knee
again.
out, Kawhi comes down awkwardly.
And he's in pain again in front of the Spurs bench.
It's a cheap crap move. It's
Well, I just don't
ridiculous.
understand how any athlete nowadays thinks that they can get away with any of this stuff. There's 14 cameras on you at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do people in all sports, soccer, basketball, diving now, these cheap shots, like if you even tap somebody in a cheap way now, you're getting it from every angle you can think of.
I think it
Why
just
not
goes to
even
show
do
you
it?
that it's so hard to control the human emotion. And, as a professional athlete, that's your biggest challenge, I think, is to control your emotions when you're out playing your sport.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes these guys lose control. And it's just, it's an involuntary human response. They get pissed or they get upset.
They just get a technical foul and a fine. You die or get a broken leg.
For sure.
Amazing.
I should definitely get paid what they're getting paid or more. But also, I'm not feeling there's not a stadium full of people at the bottom of my line cheering me on.
That's true.
So
just after this show.
No, that would be interesting.
The IOC is watching this show.
What's the line that you're gonna do this year?
Oh, in the Himalaya?
Yeah, what's it called?
Yeah, we're Lingtren is the
Lingtren. Okay, so we're gonna fly up a bunch of people. We're gonna get some bleacher seating at the base of Lingtren.
Yeah,
and
which is like right beside Everest, and
like one of the highest mountains.
That shouldn't cost very much.
No, we'll run through a contest through this podcast.
That'll work out well. Speaking of cashing in, why don't we move on from the jackass of the week and the trade deadline? This guy. This time 1 year ago, I would have put money down that he'd be a career backup from here on out. He'd be out of the league maybe trying out in the CFL. Blake Bortles has got himself a new 3-year, $54 million deal, albeit Jacksonville won 2 playoff games, nothing to sneeze at. One of those was against Buffalo, mind you, but besides that, still very impressive. He leads them to, the AFC Championship game. Unfortunately, they lost to the Patriots there. He's got 26.5 guaranteed coming up. So my question to you, gentlemen, are you an NFL guy?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, won a couple playoff games. They finished 10-6 record to lead the AFC South. He'll average $18 million a season. Jimmy Garoppolo just signed a couple weeks ago for absurd money, 5 years, $137.5 million. Yes, you're in the wrong sport.
Yes.
Same with you, Jay. Same with you. And he's averaging $27.5 million a year.
$27 million a year.
Kirk Cousins made $23 million last year with a franchise tag. He's going to go for probably Garoppolo money or more because he's easily the biggest name on the free agent market as far as QBs go. A lot of teams need a QB. We look at the Bortles signing. It's ridiculous, but he's averaging $18 million a year. Is this more about money or is this because they believe in Bortles and his skill set?
Both, I think. You don't got to pay a franchise guy $30.
Well, yeah.
Right, he's going to make $18. The dude's just got you to the playoffs and almost probably should have got you close to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he's worth, you look at his trajectory as well. That's just player development 101. It's it doesn't matter how they got there, but since they've been here, where are they and where they come to now? And I think they look at that as a nice incline. And I think that again, supporting cast in the NFL is a huge part of it, and that takes time to build. And I think they've spent a couple of years on him now.
Yeah.
And now he's proven that he can at least be a playoff potential Super Bowl caliber quarterback. And you can still get him for $18 million. It's a good deal. I just hated that
Yeah, I mean,
like you said last year at this time, and I get hey, again, it's another year gone to the playoffs, and that is what I'm talking about. But still, the fact that Blake Bortles is a guy making 18 schmills when Joe Montana was
well,
you know what I mean?
Different era, but yeah,
totally.
You know what I mean?
It's but yeah, I agree with you, Jay. It's he's proven himself, and you can try and prove yourself in college ball, but that isn't worth anything until you prove yourself in pro ball, and he proved himself this year. So, yeah, 18 million. To me as a pro skier, I'm just whoa. Whoa! But that's the world they live in, and so if you can get it, take it, and if they're willing to give it, then power to them.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man. And I could have sworn. Once again, headlines brought to you by Indochino. I could have sworn that Eli Manning would be going to Jacksonville. That was my prediction because I didn't think Bortles.
Done.
I think so too, but he's still got another year where he could mentor somebody. You got the Coughlin connection over there.
I wouldn't waste any money on that guy.
He's gonna wherever he goes. If he decides he wants out of New York, he's still got 2 years left on his deal for $21 million a year. Whereas you can have Bortles for 18. So clearly there's no chance of that happening anymore.
Yeah,
but
to me it's no brainer. 18 for an up and coming guy that's proven himself, or 21 for a guy that's clearly getting old and losing his touch.
Never thought I'd see the day where we talk so positively about Blake Bortles on this show, but
well,
it has happened.
The market.
Yeah.
I mean,
market.
Hey, all I care about is that Luke Wilson gets a new contract with the Seahawks. 'Cause
Right.
He's our boy.
Our
There you
special
go.
guest last week as well.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's our boy, Blue. So and he's Canadian boy. So Seahawks, get your shit together. Sign Luke.
I think he'll be
There you
cashing
go.
in pretty good. And now this.
Drip, drip, drip. Ladies, you don't have to sleep with that drip tonight. You know, that annoying drip in your home you just haven't gotten around to getting rid of? Berard Roofing and Drainage can fix that annoying drip. For 40 years, Berard Roofing and Drainage has been fixing roof leaks right down to the cause, guaranteed. Call Berard Roofing and Drainage. Call 604-986-1812. Berard Roofing and Drainage. We've got you covered.
All right, we are back. We got Tim Parker in studio now. Just a quick change.
Jay DeMerit was my biggest influence in my life, and I want to thank Jay for everything he did for me. And he's
now
the
you're
reason,
leaving.
He's the reason I play so well.
I think they know you're not Tim Parker now.
Yeah.
Giving Jay that much love, I don't know.
And that's right. They're the ones that give me love. They have to leave.
Now, if you tuned in to episode 216 of the FTBL podcast, last week you would have heard Jay DeMerit chatting about how Tim and Kendall Waston are the best 1-2 punch on the back line
In the league.
in the MLS.
Yeah.
I completely agree with. But now it's just the writing is on the wall. They just picked up Jose Aja, probably butchered that name, from Orlando. They added Sean Franklin at right back. There's been a lot of additions this summer, which has been great to see, but unfortunately, a lot of these additions are kind of adding up to what looks like a major subtraction out of Tim Parker.
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially.
I mean, the fact that they sign a Franklin, you're not really gonna find. That's not too much of a disruption, but the center back coming in this week was kind of a big thing for me. Again, I hope it's not true. I hope that they're just adding because they have. The thing about the MLS, and this is what I know, is that if guys are available and they've been on somebody's list, they just go get them. It's actually not involved about like any kind of he's going to start over him. It's like literally in the MLS, there's only so many guys that are good enough to be available, that are good enough that people are going to want. And I think like a guy like Franklin is that one of those things. So he's like, let's just get him because we need a utility guy. It has nothing to do with the Tim Parker situation. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's one thing that fans need to understand, that just because he's a defender doesn't mean that Tim's leaving.
Yeah.
But the CB does kind of mean that. But that being said, we don't know. Maybe Edgar's knee is on the fritz again, and he's like, fuck, I don't know if I can play again.
Yeah.
And then they're going, we got only so much time to go get somebody else. This guy's on the table now. Go get him. You know what I mean? There's also tons of things that can happen. But that's just me being hopeful.
No, fair enough.
I hope it doesn't happen. I mean, these guys have spent 2 full seasons getting together and doing this, and then just to let it go, I think was a big mistake. But
time will tell.
Business, and then he, the player can drive the ship too. So now we all know Tim's from New York, and is his agent in their ear going, "Hey, Tim wants to come back and play in front of his family. He's a family guy. I know that, and his parents come here all the time. So I'm sure they would like to just get in their car and drive down the street instead of." Getting on a flight and coming the full 5 hours to Vancouver. But, Tim probably thinks about that and plays for a big organization like the Red Bulls or like New York City FC or, whoever it is that they're saying he's going to. Could be true.
Which, I mean, for him as well, it could be a nice shot in the arm for his career. Not that he needs it skill-wise and stat-wise, but he's also a member of, he's predominant, or what's the word I'm looking for?
No, I know exactly.
He's getting there for USMNT.
100%.
So
he should be.
Yeah.
He gives them something like that I gave the national team. He's got a bit of an edge to him. He's more of like a competitor and a blue collar guy.
He's a fiery ginger.
And you need 100%.
Absolutely.
Who doesn't need a fiery ginger on their team?
100%.
We need one in the studio.
Exactly.
Yeah. But again, you play next to a guy like Kendall Waston all season, and your stock is going to go up.
Yeah.
Rather than going and being a figurehead in somewhere else, like it's harder than people think it is.
Yeah.
And they've developed this camaraderie over the last couple of years, with them being a great center half partnership and adding guys like Franklin and Nerwitzki, who's already here, and all these other right and left backs that are pretty good players. You get a defense that's going to win you a championship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you win a championship, and you're going to tell me now that moving to New York because it's more of a higher market is a better move. Like, I don't think so.
You're only as good as the company you keep in this world.
It's true. It's true,
100%.
man.
And who's he going to play with over there? Yeah, it's dude, but he'll take at least a year or two to get used to playing with that dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, like, I get the site, right? Like, and that's hometown. You play, friends, family, that stuff. It's a big deal, right? And then the fact that you get that opportunity and you go to a team like New York, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But
then you gotta live in New York.
I just hope that he and they have thought it all
terrible.
through.
Compared to Vancouver, like one of the greatest cities on the planet. I
There
know
is
I've
that.
traveled a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And New York it's the Big Apple. It's got its own thing, but it's no Vancouver.
As a Whitecap fan and a Tim Parker fan, I just think you got to be careful with what you need and what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that being said,
But the Whitecaps have always kind of had this mentality that we can't have nice things, and when things get too good, they're like, oh, we got to take this down a notch. And now you've got one of the best back ends in the game. There's no point rocking that boat. I mean, I get it though. If they end up moving Parker, they'll either load up the front, they'll bring in another striker or something like that. But no, why rock the boat? And like we were talking about the Jaguars, perfect example. I hate crossing sports here, but the Jaguars got where they got to because they have a great defense. You need to have a solid
100%.
defense in sports.
Yeah.
and this is what's going to drive me nuts, because then the replacement is not Tim Parker.
Yeah.
It is a lesser version of Tim Parker. It's 100% true.
Defense
And-
wins championships in any sport.
And
That's what I'm saying. Absolutely.
And you look at a guy like Edgar, great player, good guy back there. He'll lead from the back, but him and Waston are like the same player. They're both tall guys that like to battle and are good in the air and quite physical. But Tim is actually he's all those things, but he's really fast, and so he can be the yin to the yang of a Waston who's the most physically dominated player in the league.
Yeah.
Pair those two up, and I'm a forward in this league. I am not wanting to come play on turf here. And with those two monsters on me, no chance.
Yeah.
And now they're going to split it up because it's, I don't know, for whatever reason. If that's true, again, we're speculating here. There's nothing's been. But that being said, rumors happen for a reason.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's been talk, so it'll be interesting. I hope it doesn't happen.
I can see the fire in your eyes though.
Well, this happens all the time.
Yeah.
They were just about ready to go, and the player has come through whatever it takes to get to their, the place they want to be to perform the way that they can and give the rest the right amount of effort required and success required and result required to, make a difference, and then they leave.
Yeah.
And then you got to start all over again.
And
it's just like it happens all the time.
Yeah.
The Caps will be looking good though. I apologize. We got hooked up with two, but. The Caps will be looking good. Sunday they're taking on Montreal. And you've already got your Tim Parker jersey, so
exactly.
Your own jersey.
I can't believe we didn't put him in this.
I know, damn it. Now the people
Where's our production guy?
The people would have believed it. But the unity.
I'll keep my DeMerit jersey. Actually, thanks.
Nice.
Nice.
Sick. Classic.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go get a denim vest and rip the sleeves off and wear this underneath it, and that's gonna be my outfit for this year's season.
Nice. Nicely done. Very good call. All right, we are gonna chat.
Did you see Whitecaps fans? Did you see that the pub this year for the March is moving from Doolan's to Gastown? To Blarneystone. It's going to be the new official.
So now they're going to march uphill to the game?
Yeah.
That seems
it's hardly uphill.
Yeah, it's hardly uphill.
Oh, when you got a few drinks in you, it's uphill.
I live in Gastown again, so now this is like next door neighbors. It's
pretty flat. Across through Chinatown. You got to walk up some stairs once you get to the stadium. But I mean,
well, you get a few drinks in you though. You'll realize it's more of an incline than you think.
Yeah.
Hey, we can all use more exercise in this world.
This is very true,
especially when we're drinking.
Yeah, this is very true. And it's a common theme on this show. So, all right, you know what? We're going to talk about Jaeger Sports Bar. I did a little jumble. I'm going to move portmanteau back a little bit.
No problem.
You all right with that? Thank you, sir, by the way. All right, let's chat about them. We've had the Wings on many times. We started the show, though, before they opened, so we couldn't get the Wings out of the kitchen today. But we'll have them back next week. They were loving the close-up last week of the... that was nice. Jaeger's Restaurant and Sports Bar has been serving up some of the best damn comfort food for 12 years running. Not only a great spot for sports, each location's got trivia, wing, karaoke nights as well. Plus, you can book their free private party room anytime. It accommodates up to 40 people. They got the big screen, surround sound, you name it, and it is free of charge. Jaeger's 2 locations, ready to serve in Kitsilano and in Gastown. Find them at jaegers.com. There you go, and goes great with a nice bottle of the Merlot as well.
The Merlot.
The Merlot. And you know, maybe we should probably give away something. That's what we should do. Any trivia? You got any trivia in mind at all?
Let's see.
It's a tough one. Ian, any trivia questions?
Yeah, who won the gold medal in men's free ski halfpipe at the Olympics?
Wow.
Pyeongchang.
The men's?
Yeah.
That could be a little too specific for this crowd.
Actually, you know what? Let's do the women's.
Audience here.
Let's do the women's because I'll give you a hint. It was a Canadian girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do the women's halfpipe.
Okay.
Who was the gold medalist in the women's halfpipe at Pyeongchang Olympics?
Okay, and if you get it, you have your choice of the gift certificate to Jaegers or the 50th NHL All-Star Game stamps. You could be sending mail for months. And who wouldn't want to do that? There you go. Such great prizing right here on the week ahead. Okay, so I do want to touch on this. A really cool story out of Iowa over the weekend. Freshman guard Jordan Bohannon was tied with Chris Street for 34 consecutive free throws made when he stepped up to the line, and this
is like this. He's made 34 straight.
Did you happen to see this at all?
No. He does miss it.
He bricked it on purpose.
So he does not break the Chris Street record.
But he bricked it because Chris Street, who holds the record, so he's tied with him for the record at 34, in 1993 died in a car accident. His family was in attendance, so rather than beat the record, he bricked it, and then this is his post-game chatter.
You made 34 straight free throws. You went up to the foul line and you heard Chris in the stands. Did you miss the free throw on purpose, and how special is it to share that record?
Yeah, obviously that's not my record to have, and obviously that record deserves to stay in his name. I've heard a lot. I've been really close with this family these past couple of years, and getting to know them a lot, and just listen to his story, honestly. And it's really got me emotional these past couple of games because I know what I wanted to do. Obviously, it was a different time that I wanted to do it, but that's something I wanted to do. And like I said, it's been an honor to get to know his family.
There you go. That Jordan Bohannon talking about the Chris Street record. So Chris Street died in a car accident again in 1993. He has the record of 34 consecutive free throws made. Bohannon bricks it, and for him to chat like that just shows a lot of maturity. And you know, we related on this show because the last in-studio guest we had, Russell Tybert, who's, I think he just turned 14. You know, young guy, but very mature, going to do some great stuff in communities on the islands and in the Gulf Islands and stuff. And it's really cool to see because, I'm going to be honest, of the millennial generation, sadly, which I hate to admit to, which I am, we got a lot of shitty people. We got a lot of
there's a lot of selfishness in this world, and you know, when you're a professional athlete, or you know, on your way to be a professional athlete, you know, using your voice to show that that you can have some selflessness, and you know, I think that goes a lot further for him as an athlete than if he would have made that, you know, record.
Couldn't agree more.
You know, that shows that he's not only has the skills, but he also has the mindset to be a star, and that's what it takes in this world, kids. You know, selflessness, pass it forward. You know, if someone else in life has a better chance, give it to them, pass them the ball.
Absolutely.
And that'll get you further in life than being a selfish person.
A very cool tribute. Yeah, very cool tribute. And so while we're talking college hoops, just a quick update. The AP Top 25 released today. The only reason that we're talking about this is because next week you've got the championship tournaments, you've got the ACC, the Big Ten, all these championship tourneys, and then it's go time because March 11th is Selection Sunday, and then we get to lay down some wagers, then we get to fill out our brackets and do a little March Madness action. So you got Virginia at the top, 26-2, Michigan State still up there at 28-3, Xavier and Villanova both out of the Big East going 3-4, Duke, Kansas, and Gonzaga representing the West Coast in 7th at 27-4, followed by Purdue, North Carolina, and Cincinnati Bearcats. So there you go. So that'll be a good time. I gotta go
Everybody
out.
loves the March Madness.
Yeah, we gotta go out and find ourselves a nice sports betting sponsor there.
We could do a March Madness Thursday special broadcast from a sports bar.
Ooh,
watching the first round of games come in.
I like that. That's a great idea. As long as we can have wine, beer, and wings, that's all we need on this show. Really,
we should probably go to Jaeger's and do it.
Another perfect plug. Look at that.
Jaeger's.
All right. Speaking of excellent plugs, we got to talk about the people that are fueling us this afternoon, the connoisseur. And gentlemen, would you like to guess the tasting notes of what's going down there?
I can only guess, but I will say that a Chilean wine is really, really nice. And as someone who's been to Chile many, many times, I've truly fallen in love with the Chilean wines, and it's my go-to. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Well, these Chilean wines, you were not paid to say that. This is BC's number one selling Chilean winery. Only $10.99 for each bottle at the BC liquor store. You've got your blackberry. I'll give you that.
Any chocolate? Any chocolate notes?
Yes, we got chocolate. Nicely done.
Yeah, Jay.
Oh, this is lightly toasted. You may get this. It's the name of
toasted. It's toasted in wine.
It's the name of your child.
Lightly toasted oak.
Toasted oak. Well,
my
son's name is not Oak.
No, I know, but I'm just
They have oaks in there? No way. Toasted oak.
Lightly toasted oak aromas together with a ripe fruity palate. That is hitting the palate. It's great for steak, or white meat dishes.
It's very delicious, economical choice right there.
It does the trick. And of course, we want to thank Toastmark for hooking us up with brewskis, but it's wine o'clock right now, so it's going down smooth. Some of the biggest games across the map this week in the NHL, you got the Rangers taking on the Canucks, Pittsburgh and Boston. That'll be, I believe, Rick Nash's second, maybe third game with the Bruins. Mini taking on Colorado on Friday. Avs are slipping in the standings. That'll be a big one for them. Philly and Tampa on Saturday. The new look Ryan McDonough and the Tampa Bay Lightning. And Toronto with the turtleneck taking on Washington in the Stadium Series. Are we done with the...
Hey, shout out to Jason Garrison, our boy at the, Vegas.
Absolutely.
He's our boy. He's a Vancouver boy, White Rock.
Yeah.
And just gotta give him a shout out right now.
Now,
always crushing it.
You probably guessed this right when you met me, but I used to own a bus. And this bus was like a short bus. And we tricked it out, had like the energy drink fridge in there, beer fridge, and all that good stuff. The guy that did my bus insurance, Jason Garrison's father. So,
nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I just brought that all the way around.
Hey, you know what? When Jason Garrison retires and moves back to BC, he's going to be living right here in our neck of the woods. So
100%.
Shout out to our
hanging out with me.
Yeah, and his father, great rates. Not bad.
Great human beings. The Garrisons.
To the Garrisons. To the Garrisons.
Yes, Garrisons.
Delightful. In the NBA, you got Philly, Cleveland on Thursday, Mini and Portland on Thursday as well. You want to see Andrew Wiggins, good Canadian boy, head down the I-5. Toronto taking on the Wizards on Friday, Denver, Cleveland on Saturday, OKC in Portland on Saturday. Make a nice long weekend of it. Go catch yourself some Westbrook. In the Premier League, Arsenal, Man City on Thursday, Man City, Chelsea on Sunday. I don't know what happened against Man U there with Chelsea, but I do know that Watford had a nice showing against Everton.
Certainly did. I won another six-pack this weekend.
Ooh, not bad.
All these big games that Watford plays, I usually have a friend that's usually a fan of whatever that team is. Be it Chelsea in your case, or Graham, my buddy up in Pemberton. He's a big Everton fan. Grew up in Liverpool, so there's always a six-pack on the line when Everton comes into town. And Watford just keeps producing.
Dude, I gave a hitchhiker a ride a couple days ago, and huge fan of yours. He was from England and huge fan of yours, so he was pretty starstruck
worldwide
that he was talking to someone that knew and was friends with Jay DeMerit. So
I haven't heard a hitchhiker story in years. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I always mountain man. I always picks up the hitchhiker.
Us Whistler people, we always like to pick up the hitchhikers.
I was thinking of something about Mary's 7-minute abs. That's amazing. Nicely. Where did you find this guy? Where?
It's just.
Well, I mean, how awesome is that though?
Yeah,
he was going to Pemberton.
All of your fans are hitchhikers. All of my fans, I'm sure, right in the hitchhiker crowd.
You're a ski bum from England.
I am a hitchhiker.
Whistler. You're going to
Remember my
hitchhike.
story. I hitchhiked to England, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Driving along in 1977, and
we've all
picked
been
up a
there.
nice hitchhiker.
I first moved to Whistler. I hitchhiked everywhere, so you know.
But you went to Whistler, it's a dime a dozen there.
Exactly.
The side of the road is littered with hitchhikers.
I mean, no ski bum that moves to Whistler can afford to actually live there, let alone own a car. So you know, you got to give those guys rides. If you're driving through Whistler, give the guy a ride.
That's fair.
You never know. You might meet a fan.
My truck is too full to pick anybody up.
Your truck? Well, you got a kid.
Oh my gosh! You should see my truck. It's so full.
The kid life.
Yeah, that's not bad. What's the ratio of hitchhikers you pick up in Whistler that are Australian?
Oh, I mean, I try to avoid the Aussies. No, just joking. When I see them, I'm like, that's an Aussie. I keep driving. No, I'm kidding. My mom's an Australian, so I'm obviously kidding.
Oh, nice. There you go.
But no, I if I have an open seat, you know, which sometimes I don't, and they look at you funny, like, come on, you got this big truck, what the hell? But
yeah.
You got shit in your truck.
You know what?
If I have an open seat, I pick them up, because why not? You know, it's someone to chat with, someone to get to know.
They ever try to take you further than where you were going?
No, I don't. I lay down the law with that. I'm like, I'm going here. This is where you're getting dropped off. I don't care where you're going.
Yeah.
A couple times, you know, I'm like really not up to anything. I'll give them a ride.
Is there any time that they've actually sold you because for being such nice or honorable people? You're like, you know what? I'll take you.
Yes, that has happened, and I've and that just goes out to being a good human being in this world. You're a good human being. You might get your ride to where you want to go.
100%.
We're talking about selflessness. You're a good man. You're a good man.
It's part of life.
There you go. And you know what? While we're at it, a quick 10, 20-second plug for Portmanteau. We can squeeze it in.
Oh, Portmanteau. What are we doing this week? Oh, we got, speaking of friends in the NHL, the Anaheim Duck case is ready for shipment. We're going to be shipping that down to the boys.
We're going to need a photo of that for the show.
It's got orange and gold accents on a black leather kind of suitcase that we're going to send down to the Ducks. Just in time for playoff season. Hopefully I can help them get on a run here.
I love it.
And,
rocket logs are cranking.
Yeah, very nice.
One step at a time.
Coming up next week, we are chatting with the one and only Victor Oreskovich. The interview's a little pre-recorded. Chatting with him yesterday, but nonetheless, it was fantastic. These enforcers, I mean, it's even when I was working for local radio stations, you go into the room and you go up to a guy like Kessler or Henrik or something, and they're nice guys, don't get me wrong. But they're going to tell you the exact same thing that they just told somebody else.
Yeah, in a different version.
They're robots.
Maybe change
it.
You
go up to
interview robots.
You go up to a guy that doesn't talk to anybody, that just sits there in silence, and you just throw some stuff at him, and he's going to be an absolute beaut.
Yeah.
Every time I go, I always talk to the enforcers. I come back, my boss will be like, nobody cares what he thinks, but it doesn't matter, because they're the best interviews.
They're the ones with personality.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It was good stuff. So
real locker room guys, as they say.
Yes, there you go. So Victor Oreskovich is on the way next week. And if we have time, Anthony Scaramucci is going to join us one day.
The Mooch someday.
The Mooch. We'll get to it. Find us tomorrow on the Daily Hive. You got the podcast there. This video, of course, will be up on the Green Men page for a nice long time. You can find us on social media, absolutely anywhere. And that's pretty much it.
That's it.
Join us next week.
Join us next week. Thanks as well. Yeah,
thank you, of course.
Yeah. Always nice to have people in studio.
Yes.
Thanks as always for your...
truly my pleasure.
Yeah, and thank you to the IOC for tuning in. That was a special gift.
Yeah, thanks, IOC.
Thanks, guys.
Really appreciate that, guys. All right, thanks again. See you next week. Bye-bye.